So, San, relating back to that, okay, I'm sure you've got painful experiences in your own life. And within those painful experiences, you must have discovered your personal strengths that help you to come out of it. Can you share one of those with us?
When I was about 12, during the period about, early puberty, going into puberty, in a way my family is falling apart. My parents were going through a separation, and I recall an incident whereby we had gone back to the family house, but things were being removed, furniture was being removed, etc. And my mother got into a fight with my stepbrother, who was much older. I'm the youngest of nine, and the age gap is very, very wide. So they got into a physical as well as a verbal fight. And I recall myself, despite being so stressed during that situation, I probably was in a bit of a freeze mode. However, my natural instinct was when the two adults got pulled apart, was to go up to my brother and try to make sense of the situation by apologizing to him, as well as, in a way like representing, I'm really sorry that this has happened for a 12-year-old. And if I recall how this plays out and how I came out of it, is that that time I was just suppressing my own emotions. I wasn't acknowledging because I was 12, right? I'm just kind of caught up in that situation and trying to cope. But I acknowledged now. So it's 25 years later. And it's never too late. It's never too late to acknowledge a painful situation and what was that emotion or emotions involved in that. Because that would have stayed in my system if I didn't process it out and played out in my different relationships, played out in the way I project myself or the kind of roles that I play in my life. And it has come back in a way to bite me, creating more painful situations until I actually can take that responsibility now as an adult to say, hey, what was actually really going on there as a child? So first and foremost, we have to acknowledge that it's a problem. The problem is not that external, whether it's your spouse or whether the work situation. Yes, it creates the environment, but let's acknowledge what's happening here. And the question, instead of a why, go back to what's actually happening here so that we can stay more factual rather than really get into the whole emotional cloud that we get into. The second part, I would say once we have acknowledged the situation or the emotion, is having a bit of a longer time investment to sit with it. That pause can be just 3 breaths, it can. And if the emotion is very intense, continue breathing. Be patient and trust that your body is going to get you out of this. Your body is your team. So if we don't start listening to the team as the leader of your body, then who would you listen to? So the brain, we think that we put a lot of emphasis on the brain, but actually that's only a CEO. What is the board of directors? The board of directors drives the CEO. So the board of directors come in with your heart space. So we need to take the advice also from the board of directors, because where does wisdom lie? Not in the intellect. The wisdom actually lies in our heart. And we need to just combine the board of directors with the CEO so that it can communicate with the rest of your body, all your, big organs and things like that, because they have a job to do. But if we're not coordinating these two, the system feels chaotic. So it's to kind of see and remember that, the team that I lead is not at the workplace nor my family. Essentially, I am the leader of this. This is my team, first and foremost. So that's the second piece, right? To really come back, have a longer pause, recognize that we need to get these two communicating better. Of course, we need to bring in the gut brain, but that can be another podcast if you really want to talk about it. And then the third piece as well is to just remember to the three mentors. And we're not talking about reaching out to friends, because there's a tendency we reach out to friends, then we only pick on what we want to hear. That's why the three mentors are targeted people. They're actually focused people. They're not your random, I'm just talking to my best friend and that's good enough. No, it has to have some aspect of wisdom.
All right.
And preferably someone, who is quite different from you in that sense, who, whether you feel you can trust, you just kind of leave it up in the air a bit. Otherwise, we end up not talking to anyone because we feel you can't trust this, you can't trust that. Don't just say, well, I'm going to take a risk. I'm just going to call some person I think can help me, and take it from there.
Wonderful. Wow.